Alright, so we have our base animation now. A lot of just the main keys in here. Now we're gonna kind of add some overlap on this tail. Like notice how even delete this. Notice how even the tail sort of kind of clips through his head. We call that clipping right there. It's pretty egregious. We got to get that out of there. So this tail doesn't play super well with getting rotated all which ways around. Like notice how this barely even touches his core as it squashes in and out. We would need to add like a polish pass in there in which we kind of hand key that offset. See how I'm cleaning that up? I just snap between the keys to make sure that it's in the area. But it's a little bit too much polishy for me, for my taste for now, for such a short assignment. So what we need to think about is kind of the physics of this, right? And we got to use sort of we have to use our knowledge of physics. Like think about this as like a dangly piece that has like a little bit of muscle behind it, right? Like he can control this tail, but right now it's kind of just traveling through the air as if it were some sort of pirate captain's hook. We don't want that, right? Like that's not what we're looking for. So instead, I kind of want to get, I want to line up the keys on this with the body. So I'm going to select the body, then I'm going to select all of my tail controls. And I'm going to press my forward key, my back key to line up. And I'm just going to do that same thing that we did with the body, and just make sure there's a frame on there's a key on every tail control on every frame of the body. Right? It's very important that we keep these keys kind of aligned. So now, look at the difference between these two poses, right? For the tail, tail moves forward in space. That means that this should curve a little bit back. It should extend out a little bit. This tail wants to stay where it is in space. That's kind of what causes the overlap. Is that this tail has weight behind it, and the body is kind of dragging that ahead. So from this key to this key, it's going to need to expand a little bit. So I'm going to be snapping. That's why it's really important to get those hotkeys in a nice place for you, because I'm going to be snapping between these, right? So if we snap forward one frame, or to the next key, not one frame. Let me get this. Let's get this in there. Let's just kind of extend this out. What does that look like now? It's extended a little bit too much. This needs to go back in a little bit. A little bit. There we go. See that? So that's just kind of opening up. Now, next problem is, look at the difference between this frame and this frame. 20 and 21. We're probably going to need to manually key all of those, which is fine. Overlap is not easy, not fast to do. No one said it was going to be fast. Let's get a little bit in there. Let's extend this end. What does that look like? And then it immediately goes into this shape. We don't want that. At this point, I want to pull this down a little bit too. There we go. And it's starting to come there. Starting to come alive. Hopefully you didn't hear my super loud email notification. Now from frames 21 to 23, we're gonna get this tail kind of super low down there. We want this. Also notice how we've extended it on this frame, but then we had that other frame that kind of brought it back to normal. We're gonna want to extend this out again. go. Let me check my email just 1 second, make sure. Okay, cool. That's fine. Making sure it wasn't someone panicking. And we're going to keep this extended. I'm actually going to go ahead and kind of just delete these keys because I want this to end smoothly in one pose. So we've keyed up to here, so we can delete these. So this is our last keyed pose. Not super jazzed on it, but you know, we'll fix it later. Or not, because this is again the first assignment. You know, let's keep this right here. Kind of want to unfurl that a little bit, like this tail is. It's got a little bit of squishiness to it, you know, just like the guy. Just like the guy. And then, whoop, right there. So this is our compression. I'm gonna kind of affix the tail. I wish this didn't quite slide as much away from the body, because it throws off the arc for a lot of it. I'm just gonna kind of visually key that tail. Let's bring this there. Right. Nice. Okay. So immediately upon looking at this, I feel like we can extend a little bit through here. I feel like we can extend this just a little bit. I'm just kind of getting a pose of that tail. It's a little bit more loose. Might be going a bit too fast there. So see how it kind of extends downward before the body is super high up in the air? I might delay these keys a little bit in order to help with that. Right there. Let's bring this key back. We can just experiment with the time. See what works best for us. Let's get a nice, clean sort of pose here. We can extend this too. I know our body's like a little bit more exaggerated than our tail is. That's fine. There we go. And let's try a little bit of experiment. So remember how I was talking about the tangents and how spline is really good for overlap? Let's see what just an automatic overlap from that looks like. Not the worst. Not the worst. But we could certainly do better ourselves. So this should still be extended out here. And I want this compression pose to be like a couple frames after the body gets in there. So I'm just selecting all my keys again. Pressing S. Deleting these. Let's get this compressed against the body. this a little bit bent. And I needed to hit that end pose a little bit, oops, a little bit sooner. I'm going to go one key faster on this as well. Let's hit this sooner. And I'm going to extend the timeline out a little bit. I want a little bit more settle time for that tail. Oops. Let's delete that. Right there. Let's kind of leave this action. Right here. Let's get that original tail shape right there. I think it's a little bit too harsh in this last section. And I kind of feel like we might have destroyed the pose a little bit of that tail over here. I want to kind of restore a little bit of that hook shape that it ends up, because it ends up in a pretty sharp hook. And I want to also, this frame has some problems on the leap up. See how it kind of feels a little bit rigid still? I don't like that very much. So let's kind of move this back a little bit. And then let's bring this down a little bit. We're going to need to bring that down a little bit more. Bring this up a little bit. But yeah, so something like that. Just try to get a little bit of that overlap in there. Now, of course, there's a lot of stuff we can still polish in this. Like I think overall he lands a little bit too slowly still. Like in here, notice the arc of his jump. It like hits kind of a wall around here. I want you guys to be thinking about that stuff, because that stuff when we're animating human characters is going to be very, very apparent. Like we need to kind of address that stuff and kind of iron it out. This is about as long as I want the tutorial to be. Like I don't want you guys to be taking forever, but just keep in mind we're going to be blocking the main body first, and then the tail, and then you can polish from there on out. But yeah, so it's very important to kind of get the body solidified first. And I don't want like I'm settling for this right now just because I don't want the tutorial to go on forever. But I want you guys to kind of push on that quality. I want to see you guys put in some hours, get some nice movement in there. And the same goes for anything that whatever you choose to specialize in towards the end of the class. I want you to be solid with what you choose. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys.